Hello friends, I'm Dr. Gaurav. In this video, I will discuss about available energy and unavailable energy. Contents are dead state, difference between surrounding, immediate surrounding and environment, available and unavailable energy. Available energy refer to a cycle decrease in available energy when heat is transferred through a finite temperature difference. First is dead state. A system is said to be in the dead state when it is in thermodynamic equilibrium with the environment it is in, as shown in figure. At the dead state, system is at the temperature and pressure of its environment, that is in thermal and mechanical equilibrium. You can see in the figure we are having environment temperature equal to 25 degrees Celsius and pressure equal to 101 kilopascal. In this vessel we are having air. The temperature of the air is 25 degrees Celsius and pressure is 101 kilopascal. So our first condition that system is at the temperature and pressure of its environment. So you can see the temperature and pressure of the air is same as that of the environment. System has no kinetic or potential energy relative to the environment, that is zero velocity and zero elevation above a reference level. You can see for this system the velocity is equal to 0 and elevation is also equal to 0. So we can say that this system is at the dead state. System does not react with the environment, that is chemically inert. There are no unbalanced magnetic, electrical and surface tension effects between the system and its surroundings. If these are relevant to the situation at hand, the properties of a system at the dead state are denoted by subscript 0. For example, P naught, that is pressure, T naught, that is temperature, small h naught, that is enthalpy per unit mass, small u naught, that is internal energy per unit mass, and S naught, that is entropy per unit mass. Unless specified otherwise, the dead state temperature and pressure are taken to be T naught equal to 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degree Fahrenheit and pressure P naught equal to 1 atm 1 atmospheric or 101.325 kilopascal or 14.7 psia. Next is difference between surrounding, immediate surrounding and environment. Surroundings are everything outside the system boundaries. So you can see in the figure we are having a hot potato. So everything outside this hot potato, that is our system, is known as surrounding. Immediate surrounding refer to the portion of the surrounded that is affected by the process. So again you can see in the figure we are having a hot potato which is our system. So temperature of this hot potato is 70 degrees Celsius and the temperature of the environment is 25 degrees Celsius. So we know that everything flow from higher to lower, so there will be heat transfer from this 70 degrees Celsius to the 25 degrees Celsius. So the immediate portion to this hot potato, there will be a change in temperature from 70 to 25 degrees Celsius and this portion is known as immediate surrounding. Environment refer to the region beyond the immediate surrounding whose properties are not affected by the process at any point. So when this temperature comes to 25 degrees Celsius, then the portion outside this dotted line will be known as environment. So immediate surroundings and environment will make up our surrounding. Any irreducibilities during a process occur within the system and its immediate surroundings. Any irreducibilities during a process within the system and the environment is free of any irreducibility. So in environment we are saying there will be no irreducibilities during the process. Next is available and unavailable energy. The complete conversion of low grade energy like heat or thermal energy, heat derived from combustion of fuel, etc., into a high grade energy like electric energy, mechanical energy, wind, water, and tidal power, etc., is impossible by virtue of second law of thermodynamics. The part of energy which is available for conversion is referred as available energy, while the part which according to the second law must be rejected is known as unavailable energy. J.W. Gibbs is accredited with being the originator of the availability concept. He indicated that environment plays an important part in evaluating the available energy. Available energy is the maximum portion of energy which could be converted into useful work by ideal processes which reduce the system to a dead state. Unavailable energy is that portion of energy which cannot be converted into work even by ideal process which reduce system to a dead state. This type of energy is rejected to sink. Available energy referred to a cycle. The maximum work output obtainable from a certain heat input in a cyclic heat engine is called the available energy, that is AE, or available part of the energy supplied. The minimum energy that has to be rejected to the sink by the second law is called unavailable energy, that is UE, or the unavailability part of the energy supplied. Therefore, heat input, say Q1, will be equal to available energy plus unavailable energy, or we can say Wmax, that is maximum work output obtainable, will be equal to available energy equal to heat input Q1 minus unavailable energy for a given values of the source temperature T1 and sink temperature T2 as shown in figure. So we are having a heat engine which is operated between source temperature T1 and sink temperature T2, and we are supplying Q1 amount of heat to this heat engine from source at temperature T1, and because of this we are getting W amount of work and rejecting Q2 dash amount of heat to the sink. The reversible efficiency will be given as reversible efficiency equal to 1 minus T2, that is sink temperature, divided by T1, that is source temperature, and W work obtained from this heat engine will be equal to 1 minus sink temperature divided by source temperature whole multiplied by heat input Q1. For a given T1 and reversible efficiency, for a given T1, reversible efficiency will increase with the decrease of T2. So you can see in this formula, if we decrease the value of T2, then this value will be increased. The lowest practical temperature of heat rejection is the temperature of the surroundings, that is T naught, as shown in figure. So as we decrease this value of Q2, then there will be increase in the efficiency, and the lowest temperature of sink possible is the surrounding temperature T naught. So you can see here the maximum efficiency will be equal to 1 minus sink temperature, which is become T naught divided by source temperature, that is T1, and maximum work obtainable, that is available energy, will be equal to 1 minus sink temperature T naught divided by source temperature T1 multiplied by heat input Q1. So you can see in this, from this diagram we can say, when we convert this sink temperature to the surrounding temperature, that is T naught, so our sink will be at T naught, then we will get the maximum obtainable work, that is available energy, and the heat jetted to the sink will be known as unavailable energy. Consider a finite process Lm in which heat is supplied reversibly to a heat engine as shown in figure. You can see here we are having a Lm process. So in this process we have considered a elementary element in which we are supplying differential amount of heat delta Q1. Taking an elementary cycle, if delta Q1 is the heat received by the engine reversibly at temperature T1, then the value of maximum work obtainable in differential form will be equal to T1 minus T naught divided by T1 multiplied by differential of Q1. You can see here we have already write this formula. From here we have write this. So if you open this, you will get differential heat input minus sink temperature divided by source temperature multiplied differential heat input. For heat engine receiving heat for the whole process Lm, rejecting heat at sink temperature T naught, then we will do the integration of this above equation. Then integration of differential of W max from L to M equal to integration of differential Q1 from L to M minus integration of T naught by T1 differential of Q1 from L to M. So we get W max, that is equal to available work, equal to QL to M heat supply from L to M process minus T naught, because T naught is constant, it will be out of integration. Inside the integration we are having differential Q1 divided by T1. From the definition of entropy we can say this integration of differential of Q1 divided by T1 from L to M will be equal to entropy change, that is Sm minus Sl. We know that unavailable energy is equal to heat input minus W max. You can see we have already defined this here. So unavailable energy will be equal to W Q1 minus W max. So we have write down here QLM minus W max. So if you compare both these equations, we get unavailable energy equal to T naught into change in entropy Sm minus Sl. Thus unavailable energy is the product of the lowest temperature of heat rejection and change of entropy of the system during the process of supplying it. So you can see in this diagram of temperature entropy, this is the process Lm and we are supplying the heat QLM, then this portion, this height into width will be Sm minus Sl. This is Sm, this is Sl. So width will be Sm minus Sl into T naught. This will be equal to unavailable energy. We have already defined this, and this portion will be equal to available energy, that is W max equal to WLM. Next is decrease in available energy when heat is transferred through a finite temperature difference. Consider a reversible heat engine operating between temperature T1 and T naught as shown in figure. So this is the TS diagram. We are having a reversible heat engine operating between temperature T1 and T naught, and we are supplying Q1 amount of heat. So this Q1 will be equal to T delta S, means temperature into change in entropy, and Q2 will be equal to T naught delta S. So this is T naught. So there is a mistake. Change this term to T naught. This is T naught. So available energy W max will be equal to T1 minus T naught into delta S. Assuming that heat Q1 is transferred through a finite temperature difference from reservoir or source temperature at T1 to the engine absorbing heat at T1 dash lower than T1 as shown in the figure. So what we are saying that Q1 heat is transferred through a finite temperature difference from reservoir or source at T1 to a engine. So we are supplying this Q1 to the engine absorbing heat at T1 dash. So this engine is absorbing heat at T1 dash below than that of the T1. In the previous case, what we are saying, engine is at T1. So, but here engine is absorbing heat at T1 dash. So there is a difference. In the previous case, the engine is absorbing heat at T1. But here the engine is absorbing heat at T1 dash, although the value of heat input is same. The availability or available energy of Q1 as received by the engine at T1 dash can be found by allowing the engine to operate reversibly in a cycle between T1 dash and T naught and receiving Q1 and rejecting Q2 dash. So when our engine is absorbing heat at T1 dash and now this engine is rejecting heat to the sink at T naught, then there will be different value of heat rejecting. In the previous case, the value of heat rejecting is Q2, but here the value of heat rejecting is Q2 dash, but Q1 is same. So Q1 is equal to T1 delta S, or we can say T1 dash delta S dash. So T1 delta S, T1 dash delta S dash. As T1 is greater than T1 dash, so if you put this value here, then we will get delta S dash will be greater than delta S. We know that Q2 is equal to T naught delta S. We have already defined this T naught delta S. So this will be T naught delta S and Q2 dash is equal to T2 delta S dash. As we have already derived this delta S dash greater than delta S, so we can say Q2 dash greater than Q2. And the value of W dash is equal to heat supplied minus heat rejected. Heat supplied is T1 dash delta S dash minus heat rejected is T2 delta S dash. And value of W in the previous case, in this case, the value of W is heat supplied minus heat rejected, that is T1 delta S minus T2 delta S. As Q2 dash greater than Q2, we have already proved this. So we can say W dash less than W. So W minus W dash will be equal to Q2 dash minus Q2 will be equal to T naught delta S dash minus delta S. So there will be a lesser amount of heat obtained when heat is transferred through a finite temperature difference. You can see here, this is the diagram we have already drawn for the previous case, and this is the diagram when we draw this for T1 dash, that is when engine is absorbing heat at T1 dash. So this diagram we will obtain. So due to this finite temperature difference, there is increase in the unavailable energy because our work output is decreasing. So ultimately what will increase? Unavailable energy will increase. Decrease in available energy will be equal to T naught delta S dash minus delta S. Thus the decrease in available energy is the product of the lowest feasible temperature of heat rejection and the additional entropy change in the system while receiving heat irreversibly compared to the case of reversible heat engine from the same source. The greater is the temperature difference T1 minus T1 dash, the greater is the heat rejection Q2 dash, and the greater will be the unavailable part of the energy supplied. Energy is said to be degraded each time it flows through a finite temperature difference. So we have proved this. Whenever there is a finite temperature difference, there will be increase in unavailable energy. So we can say energy is said to be degraded each time it flows through a finite temperature difference. That is why the second law of thermodynamics is sometimes called the law of degradation of energy, and energy is said to run downhill. These are the references used in the present video. Thanks. Any questions you can write to me gaurav.catm@gmail.com.